Welcome back to The Price of Business. I'm your host, Kevin Price, talking to you about you and your business. Got Paul Carroll on. He is with efficientwealthmanagement.com. He is a contributor on The Price of Business. Love having him on the program. Also, we've got a guest, Dino Marcaccio. He's going to be introducing here momentarily. But before he introduces Dino, I would like Paul to talk a little bit about efficient wealth management. And then again, that's efficientwealthmanagement.com. Love what you do. You got a really interesting story. Why don't you tell it real quick before you introduce your guests?
Well, thank you, Kevin, and good morning. How are you today on this beautiful day?
It's great. Thank you.
It's a great day. Kevin, Efficient Wealth Management's a boutique wealth management firm based here in the Woodlands, Texas. We're essentially here to help make work optional. And today we're very proud to introduce Dino Marcaccio with the Texas Tax Group.
Dino, welcome to the program. By the way, that's TexasTaxGroup.com. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, kind of your elevator speech, if you will.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yes, this is Dino. And I was at the comptrollers for many years, working my way up, about 16 years, and then decided that it's probably a good idea if I left and created Texas Tax Group to be a middleman or buffer in between the comptroller and Texas businesses for whatever tax they might be auditing you for, or any tax you want us to evaluate you for. That could include franchise tax, sales tax, among others.
Paul, your question?
Well, Dino, so were you an auditor at the Texas Comptroller?
Yes, I had left Texas A&M with an accounting degree in 1990, and then the interview, that was my first job, and didn't intend to stay so long, but it did. I was there 16 years with 1 year at Ernst & Young State and Local Tax Group, and just realized there's a lot of ins and outs to Texas taxes, and I thought, why don't I try to see what's out there? And it turned out okay. There wasn't a lot of other consultants that were composed of ex-auditors helping Texas businesses.
Do you have a sweet spot in terms of types of businesses or sizes of businesses that you work with?
Well, I work with the little to middle market as well as the larger scale companies. Some of the larger companies that want to buy another company may say, let's do some due diligence, see if there's any potential for liability for any of the Texas taxes that we want to be aware of before we buy. Also, they may be under audit, and you may have a company with 500 Burger Kings. Okay, well, would you manage our sales tax and franchise tax audit? We'll go all the way down to a guy that just owns one Burger King. The size of the comptroller audit targets varies dramatically.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Paul.
Well, Dino, I bet you're staying very busy with both the state and federal government desperately seeking revenue everywhere they can find it. Are there any focus areas for audits on small businesses right now?
Well, if you're a small business, Texas, of course, let's just talk sales tax, will require a business selling tangible goods to tax those products unless there's an exemption or maybe it's an out-of-state sale. Services, though, Texas needed more money after the 80s recession, the early 80s, and started taxing many services, including data processing, information services, security services, remodeling. I call it contracting. And so a lot of these businesses need to be aware of that sell those services, as well as those companies that purchase those services. So we'll be doing a large corporate audit. They may not sell a product that's subject to, or a service subject to sales tax, but they may need to be evaluated for their millions of dollars of purchases that may be due. If they're not charged tax, the state comptroller will charge you.
Yeah, I'm looking over at the site, by the way, over there, Dino, TexasTaxGroup.com, looking at your team. Very impressive team. I'm impressed by the depth and breadth of experience, particularly when it comes to dealing with comptroller issues. I think it's very impressive.
Well, we started small 7 years ago when I left. In fact, it was myself, and now we're 15 ex-auditors. We're affiliated with former Texas comptroller hearings attorneys, and we can operate at the administrative court levels or the district court levels as expert witnesses supporting our team of the attorneys. It's a great situation. I didn't know if it would work. Didn't know if I should stay at the comptroller and finish my career, but it turned out that there is a need for any type of, whether you're being audited or not. Some people need tax planning. If you're going to buy a jet, there's 7 different exemptions for the sales tax that could apply. So if you want to maybe plan for that, if someone's going to buy or sell a jet, they can call us up. Let's see if that exemption applies. If it's a $3 million jet that you'd normally pay 8.25% sales tax on, that's significant savings if you plan.
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead, Paul.
Well, I wish that I had the jet problem, but having said that, should professionals be concerned? Wealth managers or accountants or lawyers, should they be charging sales tax or franchise tax?
Well, franchise applies to the most businesses in Texas. You know, they changed it. It's now, I call it the franchise/margin tax. And there's three formulas to calculate that. So if we're just talking franchise tax, you may have your accountant or CPA have calculated that for you. These options, you have opportunities to select from them. Not all companies get all three options to select from, but if you'd like us to check, just do a wellness check on your franchise tax, we can check on that. Large companies, you never know what their sales tax opportunities or exposure might be. It might be a big manufacturer. We do like well servicing companies that didn't realize we're buying millions of dollars of services and we're accruing the use tax or sales tax incorrectly. We'll go back and we can actually stop that from happening, ask for the refunds and credits back from either the vendor or the state comptroller. There's lots of opportunities. It's endless almost.
Dino, with your name, Texas Tax Group, by the way, that's texastaxgroup.com. What percentage of your clients are from outside the greater Houston area?
I'm sorry, did you say what is the size?
What percentage of your clients are outside of the greater Houston area?
Well, we have offices in Houston, San Antonio, Austin, and Dallas. And so I would say about 30% clients in the Houston area, 30% in greater DFW, and the rest are scattered between Austin, San Antonio, and all around the states. We travel to host or manage audits down to our clients' locations. We can also host these audits at our offices, which is many times what a company wants. If they're trying to take care of their own business, we can come in and basically take care of the audit from front to back end. And if there's tax due, we can negotiate with the state. There's not officially an offer and compromise set up, but we can and have, we've done 200 settlements in the last 36 months, sometimes waiving all penalties and interest, sometimes if the tax assessed is substantial, getting an interest-free payout for as many as 4 to 6 years.
Dino, I got to wrap it up. Dino Marcaccio, he's with Texas Tax Group. That's texastaxgroup.com with about 36 seconds there. Paul Carroll, your final thoughts?
Well, Dino, thank you so much for joining us today. I think I might have to hire you for the wellness check myself, so that sounds like a great idea.
Paul Carroll is, of course, with EfficientWealthManagement.com. Gentlemen, thanks to both of you for a very interesting interview, very important information. Thank you.
Thank you very much,
Kevin.
We bet when we come back, much more for you. Do want to remind you, best content here, it shows up over there at USDailyReview.com, and this is The Price of Business.